Jai Sri Radhe, Hare Krishna. According to ancient Vedic practice, obeisance to the deity by devotees, to gurus by pupils, and to parents and other elders by their words was done by placing the head on or bending and reverentially touching the feet of the idol or of the elder with the tips of one's finger. The propriety of such low obeisance being generally unknown, non believers scoff at it as unduly humiliating, degrading, and unnecessary. But there is a big, little known propriety in such obeisance. The head of the Guru is a dynamo or powerhouse of divine knowledge. Likewise, the head of the loving, protective parents and other elders is a similar repository of benevolent, benign, protective affection, while the hands and feet are like the wires charged with that energy. When the junior places his head on the feet of the elder or reverently touches those feet with his fingertips, the benevolent energy is transmitted from the elder to the junior by the laws of biopsychic electromagnetism. Simultaneously, if the elder also places his blessing palm on the head of the bowing junior, the energy circuit is complete from head to foot. Or, in other words, the body of the junior gets charged with benign energy emanating from both the hands and feet of the superior. A corollary of this is that one should avoid contact with or obeisance to an evil minded person. Evil contact contaminates, even as a rotten mango or potato spoils other mangoes or potatoes coming in contact. A slightly different instance of such biomagic is that if a child or youth which frets or fumes or feels uneasy for no apparent reason, women of Vedic household remove the evil spell by taking a pinch of salt and mustard and waving it thrice clockwise around the affected junior and throw that pinch of stuff into the fire. It produces a slight flame as it crackles and emits an unpleasant odor while the affected junior looks on. And lo, soon the junior is his normal self. Such actions, though ordinary domestic miracles, are nevertheless very handy, quick, and practical remedies proving the operation of intangible divine laws. Revered personalities are often entreated by their admirers in Vedic physiology, quote, to grace the latter's homes by shedding some dust of their feet, unquote, in the inviter's home. That is how a great mind is invited to one's home in the humble Vedic manner of speech. The scientific principle behind such a request is that when a noble pious Atma visits one's house, his feet are bound to leave back some particles of dust, which, being necessarily charged with the holy man's benign, divine, cerebral energy, ennoble the visited home and ward off evil influences. Despite current bombastic claims of a unique advance in all kinds of scientific achievement, no one seems to be conscious of or alarmed at the rapidly deteriorating standards of the human progeny. Children are born deformed, adolescents keep poor health, every new generation looks smaller and shorter. Toddlers have to use spectacles. Physical grace and allure is getting scarcer. Standards of decency, mutual affection, honesty, truthfulness, dedication, dutifulness, and bonds of a pledged word are falling apart. This is an alarming situation. A time may come when everybody may be too sick and weak to be able even to walk up to anybody to say hello. In addition to this, there are other evils like woke culture, evil education system, wicked politicians, having devilish character, and corrupt bureaucrats, etc., have already made this planet Earth a hell. The remedy does not lie in opening more hospitals, setting up more police stations, or introducing more Diazene or Mycin drugs. What is needed is abandonment of synthetic, indolent chemical culture and a return to the strict Vedic routine according to which the day for everybody should begin at say 4:30 in the morning. No bed cup tea or coffee. Surya Namaskar means yogic physical fitness program for 30 to 60 minutes, and recitation of Swadhyaya means psychological self-drumming of vows of good conduct. The breakfast should be of cow's milk with no sugar added, boiled vegetables, and cereal, fruits, and fresh homemade chapatis. Thereafter, everybody proceed to his day's work. Lunch should be around 10 am and supper between 6 to 7 pm and retiring to bed at the latest by 9:30 pm. Chemical fertilizers and sprays should be replaced by natural, herbal, organic substitutes. For example, cow dung, etc. Women may take any education but should manage the home. Prostitution, nightclub culture, smoking and drinking should be taboo. Swadhyaya means studying authentic Vedic scriptures like Vedas, Upanishads, Puranas, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Ramayana, Mahabharata, etc. under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. Swadhyaya also means muttered results of sterling behavior, conforming to Vedic standards, is enjoyed on everybody at the start of the day by Vedic tradition. Such pious prayers uttered with a firm resolve, day in and day out, have a cumulative psychological effect. Look at the six, means the Hindu Vedic disciple course. At their daily worship, morning and evening, they loudly utter the words Raj Karega Khalsa, meaning that the sacred disciple course would rule. And sure enough, they have indeed grown into a formidable power. Theirs is a prayer which has the potential of being fully answered, provided its objective or ushering Hindu Vedic rule throughout the world is still not lost sight of. If, however, that prayer is misused as a sectarian slogan to hit at Hindu Vedic values themselves, as is being currently done in the Punjab by an Akali faction of the Sikhs, they are bound to come to grief. Vedic tradition enjoins that the home where the human body lives and the body in which the Atma resides should be cleaned and washed every morning before daybreak. As a public stamp of such cleaning, for everybody to see, the stone powder, white, decorative tantric design, in Hindi it is called Rangavali, is sketched at entrances by the lady of the house or her helpers as a pious public duty. Likewise, every person wears on the forehead center a holy dot or other pattern of vermilion, turmeric, sandal paste or ash after ablution, bath, yogic Surya Namaskar means physical exercise, certifying his own physical hygiene. Reciting the Swadhyaya loudly to himself for diurnal psychological cleansing. On Ash Wednesday, Christians are supposed to apply a pinch of holy ash to their foreheads. That is a Vedic relic of their pre-conversion days, as I have described in my previous episodes. A feeling of boredom is a great hazard of life on earth, which may drive a person to madness or suicide. Even those plunging themselves into a hectic round of pleasure hunting are liable to be overcome with boredom. Apart from those afflicted with a sense of emptiness, disease, enemies, and jealous rivals, orthodox, sublime, and spiritual Vedic routine ensures that every person of whatever age remains busy in perpetual, purposeful activity and is surrounded with loving friends, helping neighbors, and doting relatives. That which is beyond the reach of human intellect is governed by Ishwara's Achintya Shakti, meaning inconceivable potency by which he simultaneously possesses form and is formless. If one thinks that Ishwara cannot have a form, one rejects his Achintya Shakti, by which Bhagavan manifests his eternal form and pastimes before his devotees. If God is formless, then he does not have any special wonderful characteristics. Bhagavan means Vishnu or Krishna or Ram is pure, complete, omniscient, and transcendental to mundane matter. His form is the very embodiment of consciousness and is beyond all material elements. He is the master and controller of all living entities. The devotees worship the fully conscious, eternal deity form of Bhagavan. One should clearly understand that the devotees' worship of the deity is not idolatry. One cannot prohibit deity worship simply because some books forbid idolatry. My friends, everything depends on the quality of faith in the worshipper's heart. The more one's heart can transcend the influence of matter, the more competent one will be to worship the pure form of the deity. The more one is absorbed in thoughts of matter, the more he will be implicated in the worship of matter. Although he may claim that the Lord is formless, his heart is still filled with the thoughts of matter. It is very difficult for the general mass of people to worship the pure form of the deity. For such worship is strictly a matter of personal qualification. In other words, only one who has been elevated beyond the influence of matter can transcend thoughts of material form. Bhagavan possesses a splendid form in the spiritual world, which is distinct from the world of mundane matter. That is the Hindu's divine deity form. It is said in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, श्लोक नंबर 13, चैप्टर 84, यस्यात्म बुद्धि कुणापे त्रिधातुके स्वधि कलत्रादिषु भौमयज्यधि यतीर्थ बुद्धि सलिले न कर्हिचित जनस्व अभिज्ञेषु सएव गोखरः. Meaning, quote, one who considers the cross-like body comprised of the three elements Vata, Pitta, and Kapha to be his real self, who regards his wife, children, and others as his very own, who considers mundane forms made of earth, stone, or wood to be worshipable, and who regards mere water to be a place of pilgrimage, but who does not consider the Bhagavad Bhaktas, mean devotees, to be more dear than his very self, to be his very own, to be worshipable, and to be places of pilgrimage. Such a person, though human, is not better than an ass among animals. Unquote. Also in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna himself is saying, Bhutani Janti Bhutejya, chapter 9, slok number 25, meaning those who worship matter go to the realms of matter. So, we can understand from these and many other conclusive statements that there is no basis in Shastra for the worship of dead matter. There is an important point to consider in this. Human beings have different degrees of qualification according to their knowledge and sanskar, means impressions. Only those who can understand pure spiritual existence are competent to worship the pure spiritual form of the deity. One's understanding is proportionate to one's development in this regard. Those whose spiritual qualification is extreme low cannot understand the pure spiritual state of existence. Even when such people meditate on the Lord within their minds, the form that they imagine is material. And meditating on a material form within the mind is the same as constructing a form of physical elements and regarding it as the Lord's form. That is why it is beneficial for a person on this level of eligibility to worship the deity. Factually speaking, it would most inauspicious for the general class of people if there were no worship of deities. When ordinary jivas, means conditioned living entities, become inclined toward the service of the Lord, they become despondent if they cannot see the deity form of the Lord before them. In religions where there is no worship of the deity, members who are on a low level of spiritual qualification are highly materialistic and oblivious to Ishvara, or is a state of distraction. Therefore, worship of the deity is the foundation of Vedic Sanatan Dharma and for all humanity. The transcendental form of Parameshwara is revealed to the Mahajanas. Mahajana means great bona fide spiritual masters who are the authorities of devotional life, like Shukadeva Goswami, Vyasadeva, Narad Muni, Bhishma Pitamaha, Yamaraj, Janak Maharaj, etc. They are famous as Dwadas Mahajana in Vedic Sanatan Dharma. So, the transcendental form of Parameshwara is revealed to the Mahajanas through their trance of unalloyed Jnana Yoga, and they meditate on that pure transcendental form in their hearts, which are purified by bhakti, means devotional service. When the bhakta's heart is revealed to the world after his continuous meditation, the image of the Lord's transcendental form is fashioned in this mundane world. The divine form of the Lord, having been reflected in this way by the Mahajanas, has become the form of the deity. The deity form is always Chinmaya, means spiritual and conscious for those who are on the highest platform of eligibility. So, my dear friends, this is a very deep subject matter. We will discuss it later in details. All such divine idols, for instance, Lord Ganesh, Goddess Durga, Goddess Saraswati, etc., are attractively painted, gorgeously attired, placed in richly decorated pandals, devotedly worshipped by millions of admiring crowds, and ultimately on the appointed day, tearfully taken for immersion in the rivers or lakes to be returned to their respective spiritual abodes. These rituals are meant to impress on every human being that this material world is temporary and that all the admiration, worship, power, riches, and affection that one receives is bound to end. So everybody should strive for moksha, means liberation from the cycle of birth and death, and go back to home, back to Godhead. Such an annual festival participatory reminder helps mold God-fearing, humble, dutiful, faithful, honest, hard-working, law-abiding, well-behaved men and women, not like modern work-cultured humanoids who say that there are 72 different kinds of genders in this world and behave like mad monkeys. Now we will discuss about the evil glance. The envious glance, even of an ardent admirer, not to talk of ill-wishers, is regarded in Hindu Vedic practice to at times cause trouble. Therefore, it is not uncommon to see a devilish mask displayed on a building under construction, or an old worn-out shoe dangle from the bumper of an automobile. For the same reason, a tiny black speck looking like a mole is delicately put on the face of the attractive child or woman to deflect any chance evil glance. At times, when such a precaution is not taken, or despite such a totem, the child or the woman seems ill at ease, The elderly lady of the Vedic household uses the mustard and salt remedy, which may sound superstitious, but it does work. Such is the unexplained magic of the supernatural, widely known, practiced, and experienced among all Hindus anywhere in this world. Thank you for watching this video. Har Har Mahadev!